Story 1. It's actually today. I had lunch with family yesterday because I wanted to relax with my partner today. Put up the Christmas tree, ate leftover cake, and relaxed on the couch. Best birthday ever. Story 2. The Golden Compass. I remember being so excited when it came out because I loved the book series, His Dark Materials. But the movie was just a complete letdown. They cut out so much of the depth and complexity from the book, and it felt rushed, like they were trying to cram too much into a short amount of time. Story 3. My husband and I went to the United States Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. I've wanted to go there since I was a kid, and I only live a couple of hours away from Huntsville, so we made a day out of it. It was, pardon the pun, a blast. We had dinner at a wonderful Chinese restaurant in Gadsden, and I had a space-themed cake. Story 4. Played a round of disc golf with my buddies on my actual birthday, then had a party with the family and a few friends on the weekend. Just hanging out with all the people I love. Perfect kind of birthday. Story 5. My husband had the day off work, and I had to go do things for about 4 hours. So I go out and I come home, and he's got me all these balloons and cake and all this nice stuff, but I didn't see him. So I'm like, where's my husband? I get to our bedroom, and he is completely blacked out, plastered drunk at 2 in the afternoon. All I wanted was to go out to dinner, but apparently he felt like day drinking while I was gone. I kicked him out for a while after this, and then, like a fool, got back with him. Story 6. I had a class with presentations, and I saw my birthday as the first date available to present. So it was my birthday gift to myself to be done early and not stress about it for the rest of the semester. Also, my lab mates got me cake and candles, and it was really nice. Story 7. My 30th birthday was last Friday, and I went on a 48-hour binge. I drank too much, got knocked out in a fight, and spent the next week delving through a mountain of anxiety. Story 8. Well, it's today, but I'm just hanging out with my husband and son. Made a chocolate cake yesterday and bought an expensive doll that I've wanted for years this morning. So it's been a good day. Story 9. My wife booked a weekend getaway to a city a couple of 100 miles away. We got to do a really cool cave tour and a glass-bottom boat tour through the clearest water I've ever seen, and we spent a couple of nights in a hotel with great food and drinks. It was a surprise too. I didn't know anything about the trip until my birthday, 3 days before. She just told me to block out the weekend. Story 10. First birthday since my liver transplant. Emotional, grateful, humble. Kept it low-key, just me and my husband. No gifts desired. Doctors gave me a pass to have a steak, first one in 4 years, and cake. Story 11. Went to my favorite restaurant, which is an hour's train ride away. The city it is in has a monkey house, so I went there with my husband too. It was my 30th birthday, and I was 13 weeks pregnant at the time. Story 12. All of my friends who had RSVP'd to do karaoke backed out at the last second. So my best friend and I just went home and drank wine and watched the Muppet movie. The next day, my now boyfriend felt so bad about the ordeal that he took me out for the whole weekend and completely spoiled me. Fancy drinks, charcuterie, my favorite movies, lots of snuggling. As much as my birthday was disappointing, he really made it up to me. Story 13. My boyfriend and I celebrated in Chicago. We always dreamed of living there, and we stayed in a hotel with a beautiful city view. We spent the whole night walking around the city. It was the best birthday ever. Story 14. I took it off work. My partner and I went for pedicures and then watched my favorite movie. Then I made my favorite meal of white person tacos, and we finished the day off with a funfetti cake. It was a lovely day. Best birthday in years. Story 15. I was supposed to have a movie marathon of my celebrity crush on my birthday last year with a friend, but I chickened out and just spent time with family as usual. I felt bad that I would be using her for her subscriptions, and I didn't want her spending money on renting any movies that she didn't have. Plus, I didn't want to make her watch the movies if she started to feel bored with them. What's the point, you know? Story 16. The month before my birthday, I sign up for as many birthday freebies as I can find, and then run around and collect them that day. Things like a free dessert at a restaurant, a free coffee from the coffee shop, etc. It's kind of fun. Story 17. Went to work, came home. My birthday is this week, and I will be studying and preparing for a huge job interview, and my wife will be out of town. But I am going to get my free Denny's meal. Story 18. Went to Mount Mitchell with my sister and brother-in-law, and we hiked a few miles. My sister made me dinner and a birthday cake. My boyfriend had to work, so he couldn't come hiking, but he took me to an Indian restaurant and gave me a nice present. It was a nice way to turn 35. Story 19. I was figuring out what I was supposed to do to get things put in my name, since my dad was found deceased 4 days prior to my birthday, and my mom died earlier in the year. It's been a long year, and it's not even my birthday yet, but I've managed to check off everything I needed to. Story 20. I've never been the most festive person out there, but you get to a point where it's just another Wednesday. Heck, I was at work as normal and no one knew. Story 21. Went to work, came home, ate, and slept. Woke up the next morning and did the same thing. I wish I could do something on my birthday, but nowadays I just focus on working hard so I can do all I want without having to worry about not having money. Story 22. I just worked but got myself some treats after work to eat. I typically would have taken a day off either on my birthday itself or the Friday of my birthday week, but I was less than a month into a new job, so I wasn't sure if I would be able to do that. Given how I ended up being treated by that company, I don't think I would have been able to if I had asked. Story 23. I turned 50 in September. I played golf with my best friend. He didn't even know it was my birthday, and that made it all the better. My significant other was out of town for a conference. I picked up my favorite meal on my way home from golf and just relaxed. It was a perfect day. Story 24. Late night movie at the drive-in with my partner. Then we drove out to a cliff top in the national park, made out like teenagers in the back of the car, and watched the sunrise. Story 25. I was supposed to get drunk and party. Instead, I spent it dying of dehydration, unable to walk, on the verge of death, getting screamed at by my ex for accusing me of so many things. My birthday is in 4 months now, so I get a whole do-over. Story 26. Haven't had my last birthday yet. This year, money was tight, and it was just my 63rd, so my roommate made me a cake and my favorite dinner, and I had several strong drinks. I live fairly simply by choice, mostly. Story 27. Watched the Tyson fight. Man, my kids got pizza from my favorite shop and a cheesecake. It was going to be great. I had to make it up by buying myself an expensive toy, a 3-dimensional printer. Story 28. Absolutely nothing. None of my family, besides my parents, wished me a happy birthday. My birthday is tomorrow, and I'm expecting the same thing to happen. I just want to skip my birthday. I'm not even invited to Thanksgiving this year. Story 29. I haven't done anything for my birthday in several years. Once I realized my friends didn't like me, I stopped trying to be around them, which kickstarted me celebrating holidays and birthdays alone, as well as whenever other gatherings would take place. But besides that, a big cupcake and a good movie is always a good way to spend a birthday alone. Story 30. I went to a tea house with family. We sat around like little old British ladies sipping from our fancy teacups with our pinkies up while eating little finger sandwiches. Story 31. I was home after 2 months in the hospital, recovering from a blood infection that attacked my heart, causing a stroke and valve replacement. It was a difficult year. It almost killed me. Story 32. I am middle-aged and fully over the birthday thing, so, as usual, I didn't really do anything at all except appease my sister's wish to have lunch with me. Story 33. Haven't celebrated my birthday since I was 8 or 9 years old. I literally don't do anything whatsoever for my birthday. I might order slightly more food off DoorDash or Grubhub at most, but it's still nothing crazy. For example, I might splurge a little bit and order $30 or more worth of food instead of around $20. Story 34. Had an unexpected birthday celebration with a family that adopted me after I took their teenage son into some abandoned mines and brought him back alive and well. Story 35. I honestly don't remember. I think maybe my mother-in-law made a cake and we had a family dinner. My daughter made me a nice card. I remember that part. I'm 40, this doesn't need to be a big production. Story 36. I got a cake a week before and ate cake every day. I got a pony-shaped one that's for children, and then on the day of, I had alcohol and my friends stayed up with me and people congratulated me and I had a ton of food. It was okay. Story 37. I drove my sister's dogs back to her house after we have been watching them for a month during her semi-deployment to assist with Hurricane Helene relief efforts. We are twins, and we don't always get to see each other on our birthday. So it's special every time we can. Getting to bring her babies back to her after so long apart. One of whom is 16 years old and they've been together since the old gal was 6 months old. Was a pretty great birthday present. Story 38. Last minute, I invited my friends to dinner at a favorite burger joint that had burned down last year but reopened in a new location. About a dozen people showed up. It was a great evening. Story 39. I am at work. I was not allowed to take leave on my birthday. She obviously sabotaged it, and so I could not celebrate. I was crying because I could not even blow out a candle and make a wish due to how busy it was. This has been the saddest birthday I have ever had. Story 40. Nothing in particular, just hung out with friends, and I think that that's honestly the most memorable way to do it. People that go all out for their birthday never really made sense to me unless it's a milestone, then maybe, but still, maybe it's just not for me. Story 41. I patiently waited for someone to tell me happy birthday, made myself dinner, and then cried myself to sleep. Better than the birthday before that, spent in a psychiatric hospital. Story 42. My ex, who was my girlfriend at that time, arranged a little party for me. It was nice of her to do so, bringing balloons, a present, and other things. Sadly, I wasn't in the mood for any of it. I really appreciated the effort, but my mind was very saddened for other reasons, and in the end, an argument and conflict occurred, making the last birthday an awful one. Since that day, my life has gone downhill, and I dread the fact that my birthday is in a few months. I really want to disappear and not live through that. Story 43. My birthday was 12 days ago. I had a few phone calls, FaceTime from my niece and nephew, and lots of messages, but I didn't leave the house and was alone all day and night. This has become my new norm for birthdays and Christmas the last few years, and I don't think I will ever get used to it. Story 44. I finally lived out my 5-year childhood dream. I wanted a jumping castle, bounce house for Americans, for my birthday party when my older brother got one, and my parents said to me, well, when you're a grown-up and have your own money, you can have your own jumping castle. Last year, I turned 28 and thought, why wait until I'm 30 to do this? I hired a jumping castle. It was the peak of summer, and it was a slip-and-slide jumping castle. I connected the hose and invited all my friends. Surprisingly, it was only me and about 3 adults who used it, and when we were exhausted, which wasn't long because we're all in our 30s, I asked the houses with families on our street if the kids wanted to have a turn, and they, of course, did. Best birthday ever. Story 45. I never do anything for my birthday. All I get is a couple of happy birthdays and a gift, sometimes no gift at all. Most times I don't even care for the gift. I just want an actual birthday gift. I haven't had one in years. Story 46. Last birthday was my 30th. I rented a village hall, set up games like Mario Kart tournament, beer pong, social games, baked a huge, succulent cake, and invited around 30 friends. The problem was that I live in Burgundy, a famous wine-growing region, and the last weekend of January is the St. Vincent Tournant. This has been a huge annual wine fair since 1938. Only 12 friends came to celebrate my 30th birthday. At least it helped me sort out the people who care about me. Story 47. Cried, then went to a 14-hour shift. Then cried happy tears because one person I work with unexpectedly knew it was my birthday and surprised me with a cake mid-shift. Then cried again on the way home as that was the nicest thing someone has unconditionally done for me in years. Story 48. I woke to a small wall in my apartment full of photos of memories of me and my loved ones over the years. Initially, it scared me as I saw it in a sleepy state on my way back from the bathroom. I went into the living room to see balloons, a birthday banner, and presents. My partner had made me breakfast, coffee, and a Bellini. I opened my presents and we hung out together for the day, just the two of us. Later on, I got ready for a surprise night out. Other than the dress code, I didn't know where we were going. A couple of friends turned up with an incredible, arguably excessive, three-tier birthday cake worthy of a wedding and champagne. We ate some of that and had a drink. Just as we were about to leave, the rest of my immediate friendship group turned up, and lastly, my brother too. I cried as I was not expecting them, but especially not my brother. We went out to a show, burlesque and magic, two of my favorite things, and a three-course meal. We went back to my place and had a little party to finish the night, and before they left, people took some of their favorite memories from the photo wall to keep. Easily the best birthday to date, and I'm incredibly lucky and grateful for my people. Story 49. My husband bought me a canoe and took me on an adventure down the river and onto an abandoned island. We spent the day exploring. It was honestly magical and the best birthday I've ever had. Story 50. For my 38th birthday this year, I went to visit my dad in New York, whom I hadn't spent time with since I got sober 4 years ago. I live in Alabama. We used to drink and carry on in the past. It was kind of our thing, and I was anxious about how he would act around me and what we would do since he's never asked me about my sobriety or really mentioned it. But it was the best decision I ever made. We had a fantastic time getting to know each other again, and he couldn't have been more proud of me. The trip filled an empty space in my soul I desperately needed filling. I am truly blessed for my life today,